Muhammad Ali, Michael Phelps, Usain Bolt, Roger Federer, Michael Jordan. Even if we don't follow the sports they dominate, we all know their names. These men, whose fame transcends their sports careers, are some of the most important athletes in history. Yet most of us don't give much thought to why they're so exceptional. The arguments we usually hear go something like this: that guy was just born lucky. Someone like him only comes around once in a century. If I had that kind of talent, I'd be just as successful as him. But is that really the truth? Are these men truly special, born inherently different from everyone else? Take Muhammad Ali, for instance, widely regarded as the greatest boxer of all time. What did he do differently? Ali himself once said, "I hated every second of training, but I kept telling myself, don't quit, suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion." To him, that was the secret to his success. American swimmer Michael Phelps, who won 23 Olympic gold medals and became the most decorated Olympian in history, explained his achievement this way: "I don't believe anything is impossible. If your mind, effort, and time are in it, you can do it." Roger Federer, the Swiss tennis legend who won 20 Grand Slam titles, expressed his obsession with being the best like this: "Being ranked second or third in the world doesn't mean anything. You're either number one or you're nothing." And then there's Michael Jordan, considered the greatest basketball player of all time. When asked about his dominance, he said, "Everyone wants to be Michael Jordan for a day. I have to be Michael Jordan every day." What does it even mean to be an athlete? What kind of mindset is this? Waking up at the crack of dawn every day, training even when it's not a school day, even on weekends, being meticulous about everything you eat and drink, and feeling guilty when you indulge in something you crave. Sometimes that guilt becomes so overwhelming that you don't even eat it. Coming across a movie you've been dying to watch on TV, only to look at the clock and realize it's time for bed, and cursing as you force yourself to sleep. Even in the most enjoyable settings, resisting temptations like alcohol or cigarettes, no matter how enticing they may be. Never allowing yourself even one day to completely let loose. Spending time with your girlfriend, having a wonderful moment together, yet still thinking about the pain you'll endure in training later that evening. This is the hidden side of the lives we envy. The ones with luxury cars, stunning partners, and millions in the bank. The part of the iceberg we can't see. In short, being an athlete is a lifelong battle against your own body and mind. These are the things that separate athletes from non-athletes. But then there's another battle they face, against their peers, the ones who are just as good as they are. To be one of the best, you have to bleed more, sweat more, cry more. More training, stricter diets, less fun. Identifying your rivals, working to outdo them, and when you finally succeed, finding yourself at the peak of your sport, left to compete against yourself. This is what sets these people apart. An obsession with winning, just like Cristiano Ronaldo. His journey is a little different from the others. He has to stay in peak physical condition, always ready, always at the top of his game. Even though his fans already believe he's the best, armed with every statistic and argument to prove it, he himself is never convinced. He constantly seeks more. To jump higher, hit the ball harder, move faster than anyone else. Legendary manager Sir Alex Ferguson said this about Ronaldo: "It would be easy for me to say I made Ronaldo who he is today. You hear many coaches claiming that player became great because of me. But Ronaldo, he did it all on his own. We all have dreams. Sometimes they seep into our subconscious, and we see ourselves achieving them in our sleep. When we wake up, even the happiness from that dream can be enough to satisfy us. But now imagine not just achieving your dreams, but still not being satisfied, setting new, even greater goals for yourself. Feeling the bitter taste of failure in your mouth and working relentlessly to make sure it never happens again. In 2012, Messi won his 4th consecutive Ballon d'Or. Cristiano Ronaldo, sitting in the front row, watched the ceremony unfold. He made a promise to himself that day. "I will never let this happen again. I will never come here just to be second." As his dazzling career unfolds before our eyes, as we sometimes even grow tired of watching him win so much, Ronaldo and those like him see only one possibility: winning. If excuses for losing cross your mind before a competition even begins, you've already lost. Some people are just built differently. For them, having fun, living in the moment, and indulging in fleeting pleasures are never options. Their biggest reward is the thought of one day taking a long vacation, enjoying a quiet retirement, or devoting all their time to raising their children. So, let's ask ourselves again, is he just a lucky man? Or is he someone who paid a massive price to earn everything he has? Is it just talent, or is it the killer instinct of a predator locked onto its target? Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro was born on February 5, 1985, on the island of Madeira, Portugal. He was the youngest of 4 siblings. His father was a gardener and his mother was a cook. Due to financial difficulties, the family lived in a small house. While his father struggled with alcoholism, Cristiano had only one passion: football. The plastic bottles he played with on the streets were his first footballs. At the age of 7, he joined the local team, Andorinha. His talent was immediately noticed, and by the age of 12, he was accepted into the Sporting Lisbon Academy. However, he faced loneliness and homesickness as people mocked his Madeira accent. In his book, Cristiano recalls, "I cried almost every day. I was in Portugal, but it felt like I had moved to another country. The accent sounded like an entirely different language. The culture was different, and I knew no one. I felt incredibly lonely. My family could only afford to visit me once every 4 months, and I missed them so much. It hurt me every single day." Young Cristiano roamed the cold corridors of Sporting Lisbon's academy, burning with the dream of becoming the best. His journey from the humble streets of Madeira to the bright stage of Lisbon was not just a football adventure. It was a battle for existence. While his teammates rested, he ran for 8 hours a day, practicing shots and dribbling. His relentless training quickly set him apart. "Fatigue is just a stop on the road to success," he told himself. At 15, he was diagnosed with a heart condition, but as soon as he recovered from surgery, he was back on the training field. "Those who take no risks will never taste victory," he said, refusing to give up. The summer of 2003 was a turning point in Manchester United's history. At the time, the Red Devils were not only the dominant force in England, but also one of Europe's elite clubs. Under Sir Alex Ferguson, United had won 4 Premier League titles and a Champions League trophy in the previous 5 years. Their squad was so well known that fans could recite it by heart. That summer, however, their most iconic player, David Beckham, left for Real Madrid in a €37 million transfer. United had lost the most valuable member of their famed class of '92, and Beckham's legendary number 7 jersey was now vacant. At United, Ferguson personally assigned shirt numbers, and the number 7 jersey carried a special legacy, worn by legends like George Best, Brian Robson, Eric Cantona, and David Beckham. Initially, Ferguson had given Beckham the number 10 shirt when he was promoted to the first team in 1994, but after realizing his potential, he handed him the number 7 the following year. Wearing that number meant being the team's best and most dazzling player. Just 12 days after Beckham's departure, Manchester United announced the signing of an 18-year-old kid and gave him the number 7 jersey. For fans who had never seen him play, it was a shocking sight. Ferguson and his scouting team, however, had watched him closely. Their original plan was to let him develop at Sporting Lisbon for another season or two before making a move. But a preseason friendly against Sporting in Portugal changed everything. Ronaldo started the game as a left winger, playing right in front of Ferguson, who was watching from the United bench. For 45 minutes, he tore apart United's right flank, turning their defenders inside out. That was all Ferguson needed. During halftime, he sent a message to Peter Kenyon, United's chief executive, asking him to come to the dressing room. When Kenyon arrived, Ferguson said, "Let's get this deal done today, Peter. I don't want to leave this stadium without signing him." Kenyon, taken aback, replied, "Wow, you really think he's that good? Sign him immediately before someone else steps in," Ferguson insisted. By the end of the game, Ferguson, Kenyon, Ronaldo, and his agent Jorge Mendes were already in negotiations. Mendes knew that at least 7 or 8 clubs were interested in his client. But at that stage, it wasn't about money or guaranteed playing time. Ferguson was clear. "You're still very young. You'll need time to adapt, and I won't be able to play you in every match. But you will rise to the first team. We will take care of you here." That evening, the deal was sealed. 6 days later, United officially announced Ronaldo's signing for £12.24 million. When he first stepped onto the field, it was clear he was an exciting player. He was incredibly fast, with or without the ball. His raw talent was evident, and every time he touched the ball, something special seemed to happen. But the fans at Old Trafford had seen many talented players before. This young man, despite his flashy dribbling skills, still had much to prove. His theatrical falls and dramatic reactions to fouls frustrated both teammates and opponents. Even Ferguson admitted, in his early days, whenever he was fouled, he would let out an exaggerated, terrible scream. The other players would mock him for it. "My assistant, Carlos Queiroz, had to put in a lot of effort to help him mature." Who would have thought that this flashy kid would one day become one of the greatest footballers of all time? Probably only himself. When Ronaldo arrived at United in 2003, the club was the reigning Premier League champion. But that summer, they also lost midfielders David Beckham and Juan Sebastian Veron. To compensate, they signed World Cup stars Cleverson and Eric Djemba, both of whom failed to meet expectations. United's classic 4-4-2 system, which had won them 7 league titles, was starting to show its age. Ferguson was searching for a new tactical approach, and the transition period was rough. Ronaldo's first season ended with United finishing 15 points behind Arsenal's Invincibles. Over the next 2 years, Chelsea, under Jose Mourinho and fueled by Roman Abramovich's billions, dominated the league. United also suffered back-to-back Champions League exits in the round of 16. Then came the ultimate low point, the 2005-06 season. Drawn into a Champions League group with Villarreal, Benfica, and Lille, United scored only 3 goals in 6 games and finished last. It was rock bottom. But great athletes are defined not just by their victories, but by how they respond to failure. Basketball legend Michael Jordan once said, "I've missed over 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost over 300 games. I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot 26 times and missed. I failed over and over again, and that's why I succeed." The greatest competitors are never satisfied. Even if they have won everything, they remain haunted by the ones that got away. Ronaldo learned a lot from these difficult years. Ferguson believed in him, saying, "He was the most talented player I ever coached. Even in his worst matches, he would still create at least 3 goal-scoring opportunities." Through sheer determination, Ronaldo transformed himself. He bulked up, toughened up, and became a relentless force. By 2007-8, he had reached another level. Premier League Golden Boot winner, Champions League winner, Ballon d'Or winner. At 23, he had conquered Europe. But staying on top is even harder than getting there. 6 months after lifting the Ballon d'Or, he suffered a crushing defeat in the 2009 Champions League final against Barcelona. A new star had emerged, and everyone was saying he was more talented than Ronaldo. Ronaldo could have stayed at United, added more medals to his collection, and remained the king of Old Trafford. But he wanted to defeat the player who had taken his crown, and to do that, he accepted Real Madrid's offer. In 2009, Cristiano Ronaldo moved to Real Madrid for a then world record 94 million euros, setting the stage for the greatest rivalry in football history, Ronaldo versus Messi.